Hello, welcome to Paint by Blunders. Today we're looking at the C'tan Shard of the Nightbringer from the Necrons. Now this model belongs to my good friend Jay, and he was kind enough to give me this model to paint up for the channel, which I'm incredibly grateful for, so thank you, Jay. Now enough of me waffling, let's get to the video. First things first, we are going to add some light grey highlights to this using the airbrush. Not quite a zenithal, but we're just going to go over the areas that I know I want to be punchy, essentially all of the green areas. You could do this with a dry brush if you prefer. Next up, dark plum from Pro Acrylic, and we're sort of using this as a shadow tone for the robes, but we will be covering most of this with the blue later on. As always, you could apply this with a brush, but I'm using an airbrush just for speed, my Aventis with a 0.4 needle. For our green base, we're using deep green from AK Interactive. Now you may be thinking this looks very Nighthaunt, not very Necron. Trust the process, but this is a lovely green and acts as a great undertone for the green we're going to be using later. Next up, coal black from P3 is our main tone for the blue. This is very Incubi darkness almost, but more bluey than greedy in comparison, if that helps. But it's a fantastic colour, and P3 are brilliant. They thin down, lovely to go through the airbrush, and are so creamy to apply with a brush. And I'm also making sure that a lot of that plum is showing through in the recesses to add a really cool contrast. Next up, I'm going to add a few white highlights, but I haven't cleaned my airbrush out, so it still has a little bit of that coal black, but I don't mind that. It blends it in nicely. And these are the areas that I'm going to be adding some of the really vibrant green to make it look like there's some Necron energy or some lovely coolness. And I'm also using this white as well to go over sort of the lightning, and you could always do this with a dry brush if you didn't want to airbrush this. And for those of you who want to know, I'm spraying this at 25 psi through the Gallery Serenaire, the little tabletop compressor. Nothing big, really small setup, but it really does work. So my question to you guys, when you are looking at a painting tutorial on YouTube, do you enjoy watching big centerpiece models get painted, or heroes, etc., or are you on the lookout for more paint schemes for rank and file troops and just general army aesthetic? Mainly I ask because I want to put out stuff that you enjoy and you want to watch, but also that I enjoy doing as well. So I'm hoping I can get enough information to find a good middle ground. So onto his metallic-y skin, I'm using pig iron from P3. Like I said, I love P3 at the minute, and this paint is stunning. Think of it as like your lead belcher equivalent. And I'm just putting this on, avoiding the deepest recesses, and I will do 2 coats. Also at this point, I think he's starting to really take shape and look really cool. He does give me a very Nighthaunt-y vibe at this point, but we're going to brighten him up and make him a bit more vibrant, because one of my references for this paint scheme was Skeletor, if I'm honest, and the whole Masters universe. Oh, I nearly forgot about the scarabs. I'm going to paint those in with the pig iron as well, and I'm just doing it nice and rough. So then I'm going to use Radiant Platinum, which is again the really bright silver. Think more Stormhost silver. I don't know if it is that bright, but it is very bright, stunning, and I'm just applying this on the top of like where light would catch the most, just to add an extra highlight. So once that is done, our base coats are nearly complete, but one of the things I wanted to do was pick out sort of that code runes, like markings on his cape, essentially. I don't really know what they're called, so apologies. And you may have seen this on social media and such, where they just touch the brush and the white flows. The easiest way I found to do that is just to thin down a little bit of white oil paint, and the capillary action will make it flow into all those recesses, making it much easier to spray over or paint over to add a punchy highlight. As always, if you are new around here and haven't subscribed and are enjoying what you are seeing, please do consider it, because it helps the channel grow massively, and I can put out more of these videos and hopefully put out some more interesting models with them. So with the white done, we're going to add some Fenrisian grey edge highlights to the cloak. You could do this after the light green stage if you prefer, but I want it to sort of catch some of that green when I airbrush it, just to act almost like an OSL. And then once we've done that, we're going to start spraying the green. Now, the most abusive, vibrant green that I know of is Striking Scorpion Green, the contrast paint from Games Workshop, and I absolutely love this. I do add a touch of thinner, just to help with any dry tip and such when I'm airbrushing, and then I just go to town, if I'm honest, and I just pulse the trigger, getting some nice sweeping transitions between all of that Necron-y stuff at the bottom. Now, you could do this with a thinned down sort of wash version. It will look slightly different and the transitions will not be as smooth, but it is still very much achievable. I also wanted to add the few accents that I picked out on his shoulders, as well as his cape and also the weapon itself, and certain areas of his body that are highlighted to have that sort of green energy pulsing through it. After that, I applied a thin down coat of Leviathan blue. I was trying to avoid most of the areas that I sort of dry brushed. In hindsight, I should have done this beforehand, but I just wasn't happy with the cape. It looked a little bit too airbrushed. That sounds a bit strange. So I just wanted to add a bit more depth and a bit more contrast by adding some contrast. And because I didn't want to lose any of that plum, I did come in with a little bit of magenta ink, just to again reinforce some of those shadowy tones that I was hoping would show through. After that, I cleaned up some of the metallics in case there was some overspray or any sort of mess. And honestly, after that was done, this model's pretty much complete. I kept it really simple. I wanted it to just be vibrant and not too, I didn't want to focus too much on all the little details. I just wanted nice flowing colours. Now, the base. I used Golden's So Flat Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey is just a very dark blue. The flat version is amazing because it just dries so matte and it just doesn't allow any reflection. So it really does look like the Nightbringer is sucking life and light from everything around him. After that, I applied some very bright green pigment powder to the base just to try and add a little bit of OSL because I didn't want to airbrush it again. And then, if I'm honest, I put a bit too much on, so I came back in with the flat Payne's Grey and just dry brushed the top of it. Also, I used the So Flat Payne's Grey to do the rim of the base. No black rim on this one. Okay, I lied. I brought the airbrush out just to add a little bit more punch to the bottom lightning where I added some of the pigment powder just because it sort of killed some of the vibrancy, and I did want to add the tiniest amount of OSL. And that's it. That is my Nightbringer done. I'll give him a little 12 for you, but I'm really happy. Super simple paint job, but effective and will look great on the table. So thank you very much for checking out this video on the Shard of the Nightbringer. I hope it was informative and I hope it was inspirational for you and that you enjoy painting up your version in any which way you choose. And I'll see you on the next one.